So if you're thinking of moving to Scottsdale, Arizona, and you want to get all the ins and outs, well, this is the video for you. Now, this will be a map video. So what that means is we're going to go on a Google Maps and we're going to take advantage of all the possibilities within Scottsdale, as opposed to a different video that we've got as a vlog, which kind of goes into the various neighborhoods. So this is kind of all the nuts and bolts of Scottsdale, Arizona, and trying to decide what you're looking to do and give a good idea for what's going on in Scottsdale. So you're wondering when that begins? Well, it begins right now. Now, if this is the first time to our channel and you want to know all there is to know about moving to Scottsdale, Arizona, make sure you click the like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you make sure to get all the updates to this beautiful city when we do new videos on them, because we do all kinds of different ones all the time. My name is Mark Phillips and I am at eXp Realty, and I can tell you that my team and we get calls, texts, emails each and every day from people just like you, all looking for information on moving to Scottsdale, Arizona. And I tell you, we just absolutely love it. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 months, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, and we'll do everything that we can to make sure that you have a smooth move to Scottsdale, Arizona. Okay, so we made it this far. Let's jump into the fun stuff. For this, I'm going to use Google Maps. It'll give us an opportunity to go in and look at some of the nitty-gritty in Scottsdale, as well as get our bearings as to where we are in town, where it applies against the Phoenix metropolitan area, and just kind of all the ins and outs. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so here we are in the state. You see Phoenix is right in the middle, so let's go ahead and zoom in. And as I zoom in, you'll notice Scottsdale eventually pops up on the map. Okay, so where it's located, it's going to be to the northeast of Phoenix proper, just barely. Okay, so where we are in proximity to the airport, well, let's take a look. The Phoenix Airport, let me grab my little scribble tool here. The Phoenix Airport is right in this little area right here. So the cool part about Scottsdale now, it's not been this way for a long time. I mean, when I first moved out here in 1982, Scottsdale was still the very affluent place. It's always been that way. It's always been kind of the upper crust of the Phoenix metropolitan area, including other towns like Paradise Valley and things like that. But it's really come of age in the last 15, 20 years, I'll say, in so many different places. First of which is access. It used to be, to get to, from the airport, you pretty much just had to come up and use side streets. You'd come up either Scottsdale Road or maybe Hayden, and those are the main two circuit cables right into the Scottsdale area. That was then. Those streets are still very used, of course, but there's faster access. So the easier way to get to the Scottsdale area, depending on where you live, is to come out the 202 and straight up the 101. Now, the 101 was on Indian land. Well, it still is on Native American land. It's on the reservation. But in fact, it's kind of funny. Years ago, there was no freeway there, but there was a bunch of overpasses out in the middle of the desert. So it was just kind of amusing to look at those things. Eventually, they got the approvals and the tribe said, okay, good to go. And so they put the freeways in, and that became the 101. Now, as you notice, the 101 is a loop, so it actually goes all the way around, but into and around Scottsdale, it provides main access to the from Phoenix into Scottsdale. So you'll be using it. If you live in Scottsdale, you'll likely be driving on the 101 either north or south. So other things, Scottsdale is geographically, it's about 185 square miles. Okay, so it's not that big, but I will say it's kind of divided, or subdivided rather, I would consider, into two different kinds of communities. One being Scottsdale and Scottsdale proper. The other would what I would call North Scottsdale. Now, what's the difference? Mostly, it's just price. North Scottsdale has really come of age since the inclusion of the 101. And it's made a big difference in terms of where people live and how much money they're willing to spend, because that's some of the most expensive real estate in the Phoenix metropolitan area, aside from Paradise Valley, is in North Scottsdale. So what does that look like? Well, if we take a look at Scottsdale boundaries proper, and again, this is all of Scottsdale. One thing I will say, North Scottsdale, there is no North Scottsdale address. It will just be a Scottsdale address, but you will be in North Scottsdale. So this is all of Scottsdale, stretching on the southern side down to the northern border of Tempe, and on the northern side up near Cave Creek and Carefree. But so this is all of Scottsdale. But if we take a look specifically at North Scottsdale, this is kind of an area that is kind of set aside on the northern end of Scottsdale. That's where the real pricey homes are, and a lot more affluent people that live up there. So we'll kind of dive into that. But before we go up into taking a looking at those kinds of things, let's take a look at some of the cool things that Scottsdale has to offer. Now, one of the things that I mentioned that Scottsdale does is it's kind of the place to be and be seen. And where that usually starts, at least at some point, you're going to go visit Old Town Scottsdale. And I just pulled up their website, oldtownscottsdaleaz.com. And basically, there's all kinds of different things to do. There's shopping, there's restaurants down there. There's all kinds of different things to do. There are events. You get down to the Center for the Arts. There's all kinds of theater down there. There's restaurants and bars aplenty. Old Town Scottsdale is absolutely replete with all kinds of places to do. Depending on your age, it doesn't really matter. There's all kinds of nice restaurants if you're, 18 to 65 or older or younger. It's a place to go and be seen. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of great places. There's plenty of art galleries down there too. In Old Town Scottsdale is all kinds. It's kind of like going to Mexico with all the t-shirt shops. Well, there are art galleries in Scottsdale that have kind of the same thing. They're one right after the other, and then mixed in with bars and restaurants. So the downtown area is a really, or rather the Old Town area in Scottsdale is a very cool place to take a look at. What are the other things that you might want to take a look at? Well, if we take a look at Scottsdale, if I come in and let's say I move the map down just a little bit, and we'll kind of zoom in just a bit. One of the big things is that that's really come of age. It's not technically Scottsdale, but it's so close everybody thinks it is, are the casinos. Okay, so there are a couple of big casinos, and where they're at is right in this area here. Okay, so you'll find Talking Stick Resort, as well as another casino to the south, Casino Arizona. Talking Stick Resort is, when it first was established, it was just kind of a hotel out in the middle of nowhere. It started gaining traction, and much like every casino that's a cash cow, they started reinvesting all those resources into their operation. It's now become a world-class destination. There's a lot of things going on pretty much all year round. They are big enough now, and they command headliners. So you'll get all kinds of top shelf comedians, rock concerts, musical concerts, all kinds of different things going into that Talking Stick Resort. And one of the things too that they've also kind of pioneered in Phoenix is the art of the staycation. So in summertime, when it's hotter than hot out here, what they do is, for all the people that live there, just like you, they want to go and maybe have a mini vacation. So what do? You go to a hotel that's local, and it has all the amenities. In fact, one of their things is the big pool parties. So those things are just over the top, lots of fun. So something to think about, something to do. There's also, on the other side of the freeway, one thing that they have also done over here is created another, like a ballpark kind of an entertainment center. So there's all kinds of baseball games, spring training, things like that. So all of those things, again, create an environment in Scottsdale that just makes it a place to visit. Even if you don't live in Scottsdale, a lot of people will go to visit Scottsdale for things to do in the evenings and on the weekends. Okay, other things to do. Let's take a little bit further north. And if we go and look just a bit further to the north, what we'll find is, let's see, where are we looking at? Right around, grab my pointer tool again, right around in this area, what you're going to find is a place that's really kind of neat. It's a multifunction place. But the first piece is, oops, that's Old Town, sorry. The butterfly experience. Okay, it's called Butterfly Wonderland. It is one of the most magical places I've been. It's great for kids, but it's even interesting for adults as well, that you go in there, and of course, it's a very hot, humid environment because butterflies like that. So you'll notice the first thing that it's very, very humid. But once you get that done, or get past that rather, it's magical. I mean, when you have a huge butterfly land on your shoulder, it's really cool, especially with the little kids. They really, really, really enjoy it. So Butterfly Wonderland is definitely something you want to take a look at. Right next to that is another thing. And this, oh, here I got a thing on the map, so it kind of shows you where it's at. The next thing I want to show it to you is the OdySea Aquarium. Now, this thing is absolutely fabulous. It's got all kinds of things in the thing. You've got underwater. You can walk through an underwater tunnel where water's on top of you, so you're kind of immersed in it, almost as if you're scuba diving. There's all kinds of different things in the park that you can kind of go and take a look at. They got penguins. They got all kinds of things. You can even go scuba diving with these little mast things that are good for about 25 feet of water. I'm an avid scuba diver, so these things are kind of funny to me. But hey, it's quick and easy, and you don't have to know how to scuba dive. You just put it on and go. You can even have a conversation. So lots of fun there. It's great for the kids because, again, it's a learning experience. So there's all kinds of things that are fun and see and do. So all kinds of cool stuff in the OdySea Aquarium. And again, that's right next to the one or the Butterfly Museum. So very cool stuff there. Where it's at is, again, right next door. So it's very close and easy to get to. Another thing that's fun to do is the train museum. If you take a look in the train museum, this, and I got a map for you, is basically on the corner of Indian Bend and Scottsdale Road. But basically this train, it actually rolls around. There's a little mini train that's good for the kids, but it's also a museum. So they've got all kinds of cool stuff in here. You can go and take a look. See, there's the museum, or the little kiddie train. They'll give the kids something to do. Big train, but then it's got a little, this is inside the museum, kind of show you what it used to be like, kind of thing. And then just kind of shows you all the kind of train makers dream in here. There's a line for the thing, so there's all kinds of things to do. This, again, it's in the middle of a big park, so it's very much a part of the park, and it's a lot of cool stuff in there to do. So that's something that you also want to think about. So these have just been kind of a snapshot of some of the things that you can do in Scottsdale. Again, there's plenty of more. There's shopping, there's arts, there's all kinds of different activities to do in Scottsdale. One of the things that I do want to point out to you, and it's not really in Scottsdale per se, but it is something that I like to do, and what a lot of people do here in Arizona, and that is to go boating. Okay, so the lake that's closest to Scottsdale, if you take a look, here, you basically got to go zoom out just a little bit, but over here, in fact, let me put this in the corner so you can kind of see it. And I'll zoom in just a touch. And it's right here. This thing right here is Bartlett Lake. Now, Bartlett Lake, it used to be pretty much exclusively fishermen, because most of the road, if you take a look at the road, you'll take the freeway up, but then you'll get off either Hayden or Pima, and you'll just ride all the way north. Well, then you come out on this road here, and as you go, and it just right down into the lake. Half the road, and we're talking probably 10 miles years ago, used to be dirt road. It was a reasonably good dirt road, but it was very washboardy. So most of the people that wanted to drag a boat out there, they did it to go fishing, and that's it. Then about 10, 15 years ago or so, they decided, let's pave the road. So it's paved all the way now. And that changed the world for that particular lake. Okay. Bartlett Lake now is a great lake to go to. There was a time in my former life that I was going out there 4 and 5 days a week to go water skiing. So it's a lot of fun. There's usually enough water in the lake to where you don't have to worry about it, damaging your boat or anything like that. It just depends. But for the most part, it's got enough water. But it is a big size. It's a big lake. So there's all kinds of, it's probably 10, 15 miles from let's say the main basin here where you launch your boat all the way to the back where you can't go any further. But there's all kinds of different things to see and do there. You can camp, you can boat, you can play, lots of fun. And that's all, like I said, it's not really Scottsdale per se, but it's the closest lake that most people will go to in Scottsdale. Okay, so other things. Like I said, this is a video that we just touched on a few things. There will be other videos where we get a little bit more in depth and show you all the ins and outs of what's in, let's say, Old Town Scottsdale, go into maybe a little bit more of the shopping, a little bit more of the art galleries, things like that. So if you have any questions about all this stuff, again, get with me. All the information's in the description. But let's take a look now. For those of you who've been patient enough waiting, let's take a look at some of the things that are more material in terms of Scottsdale. And that's specifically looking at the numbers in terms of what a home costs in Scottsdale. Now, typically, and again, this is all of Scottsdale. So you've got, when it groups in Scottsdale, it kind of includes a little piece of North Scottsdale as well, as you can see here on the map. But the average home price in Scottsdale is about $1.6 million. Now, again, that's accommodating for the homes that are up in the northern parts that are a little bit more expensive. Okay, so it kind of brings up the average. That does not to say that you can't find a home for $500,000 to $600,000 that's really nice, or even one as low as $300,000 to $400,000. It's just going to be a little bit more challenging to find one in the city of Scottsdale. But what's that mean? Well, you're looking at an average price per square foot of about $568. If you take a look, in fact, let's just take a look in this video. One thing I will point out, we do other video logs that will go into various homes and various neighborhoods to give you a little bit better look-see at the specific neighborhoods. This one is just kind of all kinds of different pieces. Well, let's take a look at this particular home, Scottsdale. It's being offered at $575,000. And if we go and take a look at the details, this one it was built in 1971. It is on the market for $575,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's about 1,200 square feet. And it sits on a decent sized lot, so it's about 7,200 square feet. So there's plenty of room on the lot. So let's kind of give an idea what the home would look like. So it's a 1,200 square foot home. And again, one thing I will say about Scottsdale, where it is makes a difference more so than anywhere else that I've seen. Location really does make a difference in terms of what you're going to pay for it. So this is in the mid 500 range for only 1,200 square feet. So if we take a look, you got a carport, which is pretty typical of homes built in the 70s in Arizona. Okay, so it's in this one, for the money, it's kind of a fixer-upper almost. Okay, so that's something you want to think about when you get to looking at Scottsdale property. One of the things that I will also say, let's take a look at $1.7 million, what that commands. And this is the other side of the spectrum. This one is a beautiful home. It's up in North Scottsdale. It's up on Happy Valley Road, which is on the north part of town. This one it was built in 96, $1.7 million. It's a 3-bedroom, 3.5 baths, and it's almost 3,500 square feet. So what is the difference of $1 million, right? So take a look at this. I mean, you got beautiful views. This thing in the background here, that's Pinnacle Peak. So it's in a very nice part of town. If you want to take a look at where Pinnacle Peak is in the valley, let me clear this away. Got to go down a little bit. Pinnacle Peak is right in this area here. Okay, but it's a really nice part of town. Oops. Yeah, so you can kind of see there's got a great view. Beautiful home. All kinds of ups and extras. I mean, it's 3,500 square feet and it's all on one level. So there's all kinds of things that you can take advantage of and see. Very beautiful home. So that's kind of how things are in Scottsdale. If you want to specifically look at North Scottsdale, I pulled up another market report, which, by the way, if you're interested in a market report for a property or an area, by all means, get with me. I can easily pull that information for you and discuss all the details so we can get you into the right place. But if you notice in North Scottsdale, the average home price, and this is average, up to $2.5 million. Okay, so there's a lot of different things up there, and the price point per square foot is about $100 more a foot, $649. And the most expensive home, let's take a look at the most expensive. This one is $32 million. Okay, this is the most expensive home in Scottsdale on the current market. So this place, to give you an idea of what it's running, it is 7 bedrooms, 10 full bathrooms, and it's about 17,000 square feet. So for $32 million, you ought to get what you want, right? But this thing is absolutely palatial. I mean, if you look at this thing, you're getting all the bells and whistles in this property. I mean, it sits on a huge lot. You are away from everything. You've got a pool with a disappearing edge. You've got plenty of room to play. But for $32 million, you would kind of expect that, I would think. Okay, beautiful, beautiful home. All right, so let's see. This has been a look at Scottsdale, kind of fast and furious, but we talked a little bit about where it was, how it fit into the valley, and how to get around. And then we went and looked at the Old Town Scottsdale area where most people go to stay and play. And there's homes that are around there that are really neat. They're typically a little bit older. As you get into the mid of Scottsdale and up certainly into the north of Scottsdale, you're going to see newer homes. And that's where the prices are also going to commensurately rise upwards up to, if you want to spend that crazy money, 32 million is possible. So there's all kinds of things to see and do in Scottsdale. This is but one look at the city of Scottsdale. We will be doing other videos that go into different pieces as we've discussed. So if there's anything I can do for you, being a realtor with the Curtis Johnson team of EXP, I would more than happy to do that for you. Answer any questions. Again, get with me in the comments below, and we'll see you on the next round. Have a great day.